This morning, President Mahama has also directed the Finance Minister to allocate funds to commence Phase 2 of the BOAHEN Sea Defense Project to mitigate flooding. And fruit vendors in Ghana are facing an unexpected challenge as Muslims around the world observe the holy month of Ramadan. Coming up later on the international front, Australian startup unveils the world's first commercial biological computer running on living human. Coming up shortly. Stay with us. We are starting our first details from the office of the presidency. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has emphasized the need for Ghana to move beyond rhetoric and take concrete steps to overcome its dependence on donor aid and external financial support. He said this during the 68th Independence Day celebration at the Jubilee House yesterday, March 6, 2025. The president's call to action comes as Ghana continues to grapple with the challenges of transitioning from donor aid to self-reliance. Stakeholders have identified key challenges including financial gaps, shifting national priorities, and loss of technical capacity. However, speaking at the 68th Independence Day celebration at the Jubilee House, President Mahama acknowledged these discussions and warned that merely repeating these concerns without implementing solutions risk making them a cliche.
These independence anniversaries must therefore be a moment of reflection, not on what we have done for ourselves, but on how well we have stewarded national assets for those we will hand them over to in the future. Our story cannot be one of missed opportunities. It must be one of continued effort to achieve far more than we can boast of now. Posterity will not accept our failures or take them kindly. As President, I am committed to providing the bold leadership and the clarity of vision that is needed to navigate the turbulent economic waters we are sailing in currently, while safeguarding our future. Discussions about our independence often highlight our reliance on imports, on donor aid, and IMF bailouts as signs of continued dependence.
President Mahama criticized the contradiction of advocating for self-reliance while continuing to seek financial assistance.
This reminder is repeated so often that while undeniably real, it risks becoming a cliche. Yet the entire efficacy of this reminder lies not in just repeating it, but in our willingness to take decisive action. Actions that will break the chain of dependency, not just the empty rhetoric of an Africa that is beyond aid. Proclaiming self-reliance while marching straight back to the donors, into the hands of the donor agencies, begging bowl in hand, is really meaningless.
President Mahama's emphasis on decisive action is seen as a timely call to action for Ghana to take control of its economic destiny and move towards self-reliance. We are still on Independence Day because President John Dramani Mahama has called on residents of BOAHEN and its surrounding areas to embrace peace and renew friendships to end the ongoing conflict in the region. His plea follows the recent surge in violence that has resulted in the death of about 56 people. Addressing the public during the 68th Independence Day celebration held at the Jubilee, Mahama urged the people of BOAHEN to prioritize peace for the sake of future generations.
In the spirit of unity and brotherhood that this independence represents, I wish to speak directly to you, my brothers and sisters, in Boko and everywhere in our land where conflict is raging. I do not speak as president, but as your son and brother, in whose hands you have entrusted a solemn duty. The people of Boku and other areas, it is time for lasting peace to prevail. Our children deserve to inherit a peaceful land where their dreams are nurtured, not where their nightmares are relived. They deserve to inherit a land where our markets are bustling with trade, not tension and conflict. They deserve to inherit schools that echo with learning and not melancholy. Let us not be swayed by division, mistrust, and the weight of past injuries. Let us give renewal of friendship a chance. Let us give peace a chance. This is not an invitation to simply forget the past. Far from.
Away from this, the Convention People's Party has urged Ghanaians to rally behind President John Dramani Mahama's vision to reset the country, calling for national reflection, review and rebuilding of the economy. According to the party, the initiative outlined by President Mahama will benefit all Ghanaians regardless of political affiliation, creed or ideology, if successfully implemented. In a statement issued on Thursday, March 6th, the CPP commended the president for his decision to scale down the 68th Independence Anniversary commemoration, saving the nation 13.5 million Ghana cedis, an amount the stated represents 90% of the previous cost. The CPP noted that during the 66th Independence Anniversary in 2023, it had called for a boycott of Independence Day celebrations until the country was in a better state. In the Central region, the Member of Parliament for WAKEUPSHOW East constituency, Phyllis Nakoyo, has assured her that her constituency will not be left behind in President John Dramani Mahama's development agenda.
Speaking at the 68th Independence Day celebration parade, Phyllis Nakoyo emphasized her commitment to lobbying for development in her constituency, particularly in education. She highlighted President Mahama's commitment to maintaining and improving the free senior high school policy and pledged to work towards achieving this goal in the constituency.
Contrary to speculations and fears that the current government seeks to abolish the free SHS system, His Excellency the President has set up an 8-member committee, National Education Reforms Committee, to address the challenges faced by this important sector. He is of the view that the national dialogue knows the best approach to giving Ghanaian children a shot at a better life through quality education and relevant education is what the nation requires.
The MP also addressed the current cholera outbreak in the region, urging commuters to adopt a renewed mindset towards environmental hygiene to prevent the spread of the diseases.
Wonder Ghana has been hit once again by cholera after several years of incident-free. Central region has had its fair share of cholera outbreak, and Kaswa is no exception. Unfortunately, 8 people have so far lost their lives in the recent outbreak. This is unfortunate. Let us have
Municipal Director of Education for WAKEUPSHOW East, Faustina Brian called for collective efforts to strengthen the education sector. She appealed to traditional leaders to champion the cause of education and release lands for educational infrastructure.
Strengthening our education system requires a collective effort. The government alone cannot do it all. Every stakeholder, parents, teachers, corporate bodies, and community leaders has a role to play. To our chiefs and queen mothers, you are the custodian of our values and lands. Release the lands for schools. Champion the cause of education in your communities. While traditional leaders speak, the people listen. Let your voices tender across this municipality. Education first.
President John Dramani Mahama has directed the Finance Minister to allocate funds for the commencement of Phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project to mitigate flooding. Hundreds of residents in Salakope, Amutino and Agaveji have been displaced by recent flooding. During a visit to Agaveji in the Volta region, where he has said the destruction caused by tidal waves, Mahama acknowledged the urgent need for action.
They came and they have made the assessment and they're giving us a comprehensive report of what is happening here. 51 households have been affected and 300 people have been displaced. And 80 meters of the coastline has been washed away. Now, when Chief was speaking, he touched on what the issue is. We started a sea defense project called Blekusu Phase 1. The feasibility study was also done for Blekusu Phase 2, and the understanding was that when the contractor finishes Phase 1, he will continue with Phase 2. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So the project ended at Phase 1. Government did not provide funding to continue Phase 2. Phase 2 would have covered Agaveji, Salakope, Adina, and Amotino. And so that basically is the problem. The feasibility study is ready, the design is ready. We just have to allocate the funding so that the project will start. Happily, the Finance Minister next week is going to present the budget. So I'm going to ask the Finance Minister to include funding to start Phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project. Before we came here, we went to the resettlement project that I believe or I've heard is being financed by Ghana Gas. I don't think the project was well thought through. The work is shoddy, and even the area where the resettlement is being built is a flood area. And so if it floods, it will affect those buildings too. And so those buildings are not fit for purpose. There are two things we need to do. Start the building of the Phase 2 of the defense wall, but at the same time resettle those whose houses have been affected. In the meantime, to alleviate the plight of those who have been affected, we brought some items to be distributed to those who have been displaced. The items are from 3 sources. One, our brother Governor Sakoja, who is our Minister of Roads and Transport, has donated 250 bags of rice. For those of you who know, our mother comes from Denu, and so we're also part of you. And so my younger brother, who is the MD for Engineers and Planners, has also given 100,000 CDs.
Away from the Volta region, the Ghana Education Service has taken a significant step towards cleaning up its payroll database by directing staff affected by the recent revocation of appointment and recruitment to validate and reinstate their recruitment by March 14, 2025. This move aims to ensure the accuracy and integrity of the GES payroll system. To achieve this, the 3-member committee comprising the Regional Human Resource Officer, Regional Internal Auditor, and Regional Accountant will lead the validation exercise. In the statement, the GES directed all affected staff to provide appointment letters, academic certificate, licential certificate, and national service certificate to support the validation process. The Ghana Education Service Management has urged all affected staff to cooperate fully with the validation exercise to ensure its success. Are you still watching our main news bulletin for this morning? Coming up shortly, food vendors in Ghana are facing an unexpected challenge as Muslims around the world observe the holy month of Ramadan. Do stay for more details. Welcome back from the break. Now, fruits are a staple food during Ramadan, providing a refreshing and nutritious way to break the fast, which typically gives fruit vendors a booming business. However, this year's Ramadan, falling in March, presents a unique challenge. Globe News' Idrisi Hamzata has been investigating this issue and has filed this report.
Traditionally, dates, watermelon, mangoes, bananas, oranges and other fruits are consumed during Ramadan. However, this year's Ramadan, which falls in March, presents a challenge as it coincides with Ghana's off-peak fruit season, exacerbated by the recent dry spell. Mangoes and watermelon, two of the most highly desired fruits during Ramadan, are typically harvested between November and April and May and July, respectively. As a result, their availability and affordability are compromised, affecting Ghanaian Muslims who rely on these fruits for their nutritional and refreshing qualities. Rukaya Yakubu, who visited the market to purchase watermelon, discovered that the price had increased beyond her budget. I came to buy watermelon, but they say it's 25 cedis. I can no longer buy it because it is beyond my budget. Speaking with Mariama, a local fruit vendor, she lamented that the scarcity of watermelons and other fruits has led to a significant surge in prices. She explained that small-sized watermelons, which previously sold for 5 or 10 cedis, now cost a whopping 30 cedis, noting that the price hike is driving away customers.
I
would have sold these for 5 or 10 cedis. By now they would have all been sold, but they are too expensive, so no one is buying them. Each one is sold for 30 cedis. If I lower the price, I won't make a profit.
I say no, 25 no the man. I say no, I work at 25.
Christian Ayabua, another vendor, echoed similar concerns, pointing out that a bag of mangoes now costs 1,000 cedis. She attributed the steep price to a combination of factors which have forced them to increase their prices, further straining the already limited purchasing power of their customers.
Yam campaign na yama if you intend to ya kokra kakra amambo bag bako ne bo nya sentukwa nkenkenkenke pa te se bo site we nyina 1,000 bag so abebre ya say I just hear the big one so man break answer ya ton ntini pani ba na obo boa on purpose.
Ransford, a food enthusiast, expressed his disappointment, complaining that the dry spell experienced last year has not only impacted the availability of fruits, but also their quality. He lamented that the available fruits are not properly matured, yet they come with a heavy price. Last year's dry spell affected mango trees, resulting in low yield. Now, a bag of mangoes costs 1,000 cedis, but it's filled with small, rotten, and unripe fruits.
8 cedis, some 12 cedis.
This underscores the imperative need to enhance and improve efficient irrigation systems in Ghana with the right infrastructure, technical expertise, and market demand. Ghanaian farmers can harness the potential to produce fruits like mangoes and watermelons throughout the year, breaking free from the constraints of traditional seasonal production. For Globe News, Idris Hamzata.
In other stories, a growing waste pollution crisis is gripping Achimota traders, and residents express escalating concerns over a potential cholera outbreak. The crisis has been sparked by an ongoing sit-down by Zoom Lion workers who are demanding payment of unpaid salaries.
The situation has left piles of waste uncollected in the main market, lorry station and surrounding areas, posing a significant health risk to residents and traders. With Ghana's history of cholera outbreaks, which have claimed hundreds of lives in recent years, traders are fearful of a potential outbreak in the area.
Na ne ekume kura me se yetu efekiti ne wiya. Na omasa abasa bola ihisa na egu ha.
We sit near the trash. What hurts me the most is that they collect tickets from us and we pay an extra 5 cedis for them to collect the trash, but they don't do that. So we are left praying that we don't contract the disease. We sell food and also provide space for people to eat. But some people dump their rubbish here. If you try to confront them, you will be in trouble. Zoomline also keeps complaining that they are not paid for their services. We are struggling.
And yet, if we say, but I'm a bit of good, and yet, if we say, Yalansu by a queer wooden penna, I say anything. Until be a catch of the ball and maybe I'm going to
As the situation continues to unfold, residents and traders remain anxious, hoping for a swift resolution to the crisis. In response, the BRIM Central Municipal Coordinating Director, Haruna Amadou Zure, has assured that the Assembly will work to clear the waste, while also urging traders and residents to maintain cleanliness.
The only thing I can tell you is that we have made some moves to ensure that those debts are cleared. In fact, some of the issues are Zoomlion related issues. So when the sanitation issue came to my notice, I did not disagree with the suggestion that to get people to move to get the place cleared. What I did was that I said, when some of them were, the Zoomlion were complaining that for 1 year they have not been given their allowances or salaries or something.
In the meantime, residents and traders are being urged to take precautions to prevent the spread of diseases. The Ghana Health Service has warned of the risks of cholera and other diarrhea diseases and is providing guidance on proper hygiene and sanitation practices.
On the international front, an Australian startup has unveiled the world's first commercial biological computer running on living human cells. To stay. Australian biotech company Cortical Labs has introduced what it claims to be the world's first co-deployable biological computer, which combines human brain cells with traditional silicon-based computing. The system, known as CL1, is being explored for its potential applications in artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Cortical Labs is a company that's developed the world's first biological computer. And what I mean by biological computer is that unlike using artificial neural networks, we grow real biological neurons into networks onto computer chips. How we do that is that we take from stem cells into brain cells or neurons that we then use them for compute and intelligence. This is where the neurons would be embedded in. We have 64 channels where we can interface with them electronically. There's a compute unit at the base that reads the electrical activity and performs the computation. We have pumps like the heart, waste feeding reservoirs, filtration units like the kidneys, and we have a gas mixer to take carbon dioxide, oxygen, and nitrogen. In Australia, because we partnered with also the guys from the University of Barcelona. We also have PDMS structures where we can actually get them to look more like computing units and learn how to recognize clusters of digits that are handwritten. So is the digit 4 different from digit 5?
Oh, coming up in sports, Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim is calling for his team to be more ruthless in front of goal. The stay. Ruben Amorim says Manchester United must be more ruthless after his absentee hit side failed to make their dominance pay as Thursday's Europa League trip to Real Sociedad ended all square.
Hi Ruben, a good result, all being equal, but could it have been better?
Yeah, could be better, but could be worse, because in the last 20 minutes I felt the team really tired. But until the penalty, I felt that the team was in control of the game. After the goal, we were so near the second goal with transitions. You felt in the stadium they were nervous, but in the end, the penalty I think did change a little bit. And then when the momentum changed, we get tired more easily. We take the game to Old Trafford and we'll try to win that.
I know you don't usually talk about referees, but the penalty, have you seen it again? Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Let's try to win the second game.
Dave.
We are creating chances. Sometimes you don't see it in the XG because we manage not to shoot. It's hard to say, but I'm just imagining that Diogo doesn't know for sure that Rasmus has the advantage, and he felt that he has a lot of time to think the play. One thing that I'm sure they are really anxious to score goals and to win games, so they are doing all the best. And then sometimes they want to do the best, but they are not deciding the best way in that position. But it was a clear situation. Rasmus did really well. Dalot did really well. The decision was not the best. The important thing is to move on and not stay like them, like fighting. And let's move on into the next.
Chelsea grabbed a first leg advantage in the last 16 of the Conference League with a 2-1 win over FC Copenhagen. Enzo Maresca's side created little in the first 45 minutes, with the visitors managing just a 2-shot on goal, by the triple substitution from the boss at the break sparked them into life. Here is a post-match reaction from Enzo Maresca and Reece James.
Reece, an important win, first leg here. How did you find it today?
Yeah, it was a tough game, an amazing atmosphere. We knew coming here wasn't going to be easy, and in the first half we found it tough to break them down. They set up probably different to what we expected, and I think towards the second half we kind of made some changes at half time, and in the second half I feel we grew into the game.
Can you talk us through that first half, how important it was to remain resilient, to keep fighting?
Yeah, I think the first half was more, to stay calm, not get frustrated that, we was playing against such a deep block. In the past we've probably, got frustrated in the first half, and that probably, has been tough, going into the second half. But, we stayed, we stuck to the game plan and, stayed cool.
What did the manager ask of you and the squad at half time to try and get a reaction?
No, I think we didn't need a reaction. We just had to continue playing. We knew the chances would appear. The game would open up, and I think we saw that.
And your goal did exactly that. Can you talk us through it from your perspective?
I think it was a bit of a bad pass by Cuckoo. Probably helped him out with an assist. I got a clean strike on the ball, and the keeper couldn't get there.
Enzo, an important win. How did you find that one?
Yeah, as you said, important win. First of all, because it's away. Second, the environment, they are a good team. And especially because they surprised us a little bit, because they play with line of 5. Probably they played, I think, 2-3 games in the last 3 years. So they surprised us a little bit, but overall I think we controlled the game and we deserve to win.
How pleased were you that we remained so patient in that first half, even though maybe the chances didn't fall?
Yeah, first half we didn't create chances, but when you have 11 players behind the ball, also you know, we have Shimi that 17 years old, Tai also, so we expect to struggle a little bit to create chances. But the important thing is that at the end we won the game, and now we can be focused on Sunday game.
And that brings us to the end of sports. We take a recap of the top stories. President Mahama has emphasized the need for Ghana to move beyond rhetoric and take concrete steps to overcome its dependence on donor aid. President Mahama has also directed the finance minister to allocate funds to commence phase 2 of the BOAHEN Sea Defense project to mitigate flooding. On the international front, Australian startup unveils the world's first commercial biological computer running on living human cells. In sports, Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim is calling for his team to be more ruthless in front of goal. That's the package for you this morning. I am Sandra BOAHEN. Up next is ESA No Say. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.